Yo, what's going on, guys? GZTV back with another video, and in this video we are going to be discussing the NBA basketball that had just took place. It's probably been like 10 to 15 minutes since the last game ended. There were a lot of games on tonight. This might be a lengthy video, but I'm going to try not to talk too much about the games that weren't very good. A decent amount of games were close, though, so that is a good thing. We'll talk about the Nuggets and Wizards very lightly because this wasn't that good of a game. Nikola Jokic scores 31. The Nuggets pull away from the Wizards. They win by 14. Great scoring and rebounding for MVP candidate Nikola Jokic tonight. They had a slow start. The Nuggets are only up by like 2 at halftime, and they turned it up. And obviously, the Wizards not having all of their guys, they've been missing guys for a decent amount of time now. They've just had a very tough stretch. It's just been very unlucky. If you're a Wizards fan. Looking at the Nuggets, 21 points for MPJ off of 67% three-point shooting. He is absolutely elite. 31 points and 12 rebounds for Jokic, who shot 67% from the three, as well as 75% from the field. And by the way, we're not going to be streaming tonight because Greg isn't getting on, so I just decided to make my video and kind of chill out for the rest of the night. I haven't been doing that. Haven't been getting the best sleep. So, yeah, you want to look at the Wizards. 25 points for Porzingis. Porzingis is trying out there. He shot 33% from three. There's not much he can do when he doesn't have guys like Kyle Kuz or Bradley be able to bounce the ball off of. Daniel Gafford, Taj Gibson, guys like that. Their front court isn't very strong in general, and they've kind of had this. Anthony Gill could definitely be a little better for this squad as well. So, yeah, Knicks and Heat up next. Very good game here against two guys that have been on fire lately, Jimmy Butler and Julius Randle. I knew this was going to be a good matchup. Jimmy Butler scores 35. The Heat hold off the Knicks by 7. Jimmy Butler stepped back onto the court in his usual time slot midway through the fourth quarter with the Miami Heat clinging to a 1-point lead, and he knew he had to get some shit done. He got into the game. He was a man on a mission. No doubt, I would say the Knicks played pretty good, honestly. I think the Knicks played good. You get a 25-point performance for Jalen Brunson, who shot 33% from three. You get a 26-point performance for R.J. Barrett, who shot 50% from three. You have a 22-point performance out of rising star Quentin Grimes, who showed us a lot at the All-Star break, who shot 60% from three. I don't really have any complaints. Maybe a guy like Isaiah Hartenstein could get a little more involved with the offense, but other than that, they didn't play terrible. Looking at the Heat, 35 points for Jimmy Butler, didn't miss a single three, 22 points for Tyler Hero, and yeah, the Heat were able to get it done tonight, so that's cool. Pacers-Raptors, another good game on the schedule. Two teams in somewhat close proximity to each other in the East race, so it's always interesting to, look at games like this. Obviously, this was an Indiana game. It was local to me, so I wasn't able to watch it. But yeah, back home in Canada, Aaron Nembhard nets 25 as the Pacers top of the Raptors. The rookie, great scoring and passing. He is a Canadian basketball player. This is his first NBA game in Canada, which is really cool. But the Pacers were able to win by 4. The Raptors coming into this game won 7 straight at home. The Pacers ended that, so Raptors are a tough home team to beat, apparently, but Aaron Nembhard, 25 points and 10 assists. He shot 60% from three, and that's really all they needed. Not having Tyrese Haliburton has been tough, but Aaron Nembhard has been able to step up in the guard play. You look at the Raptors, you get a 31-10 stat line for Pascal Siakam. You get 23 points out of Jakob Poeltl, one of his better games since joining the team. Fred VanVleet played incredible. He put up a 28-11 stat line. So, yeah. Guys like Christian Koloko and Will Barton could definitely play a little better for the Raptors team, but I don't have that many complaints. Pacers just played pretty good as a team there. Warriors Mavs, another good game. We had good game after good game tonight. It did not disappoint. I mean, we are in March. Anything could happen, even for the NBA. Very controversial, very weird play. I don't know what happened with the Mavs, and the refs were confusing things. But Steph Curry and the Warriors get a crucial 2-point win over Luka Doncic and the Mavs. Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors have consecutive road wins for the first time since the NBA playoff finals, and a big advantage in the playoff race over the team they beat to get there last June. Yeah, I mean, the Warriors have been winning some big games. I'd be very happy right now if I was a Warriors fan. Kevon Looney, 12 points, 12 rebounds. He shot 80% from the field. 20 points and 13 assists for Steph Curry. He shot 50% from the field. And their best scorer off the bench, Jonathan Kuminga, which we've known for a while now that he can be a good player in the league. But man, 22 points off of 67% three-point shooting. I mean, that's great, looking at the Mavs, 30 points and 17 assists for Luka Doncic tonight. And off the bench, I mean, Jalen Hardy, look, he might be going for most improved next season. Like, this guy's going to be a star. You give this guy an opportunity, he's having like a Cam Thomas type of run. He put up 27 points off of 67% three-point shooting. Obviously a guy like Maxi Kleber could have done a little more for this squad, but I mean, that crucial call by the refs did kind of give the Warriors the win. I'm not going to lie there. Sixers, Bulls, do we really even need to talk about this game? Another disappointing game for Chicago. Tyrese Maxey keys a fast start as the Sixers. I mean, there was no shot for the Bulls in this game. I mean, they lost by 25 points. The Philadelphia 76ers played without James Harden, and then Joel Embiid departed with mild right calf tightness. But it didn't matter because they had a big advantage in this game. So, I mean, yeah. They don't really even need all their players. Tobias Harris had 20 points. He had shot 60% from the three-point line. I mean, they have guys that can step up. Tyrese Maxey, 21 points, 50% three-point shooting. D'Anthony Melton, who has been a bucket for this team for a little while, 25 points, 50% shooting. I mean, they have so many guys that can step up at spots, and I mean, to begin with, the Bulls don't even have their starters stepping up. They have a guy like Andre Drummond coming off the bench and putting up 13 points, 12 rebounds, shooting 75%, and that's literally all they had. An awful game by, Pat Bev. Not a good game for Pat Bev tonight at all. But this just was a terrible Bulls game. I don't know what the hell I witnessed there. Moving on to the Rockets and the Grizzlies. I mean, respect to the Rockets for keeping it close. Ja Morant back. The Grizzlies have beat the Rockets. They clinched first in the Southwest, so we're kind of getting some playoff news. It's very interesting. Ja Morant, decent scoring, decent passing in his return. The league imposed a suspension. Jaren Jackson had himself a game. Ja Morant obviously didn't want to just play a full-on game coming off of this. He kind of has to ease back into the action, but, I mean, at least the Grizzlies are good enough to just go out there and hoop. But, I mean, the Rockets played a really good basketball game. Kmart, despite getting dunked on by Ja, he had 31 points. He shot 40% from three, 67% from the field. You get a 25-point performance for Alperen Şengün, however you say his last name. You get a 14, 10, and 10 stat line for KPJ off of 40% three-point shooting. And you get a 32-point performance for Jalen Green, 50% three-point shooting. If these guys can somehow find a way next season to play like this, like every other game, they might be looking scary. There's really not much they can do. Their bench is very weak, so I can't really blame the Rockets too much for losing games like that, For what they have, they're doing what they can. Jaren Jackson, though, 37 points, 10 rebounds. I mean, he's a defensive machine, 2 blocks, and a steal this game. He could possibly win DPOY. I mean, he shot 70% from the field. Desmond Bane added a little bit of his own. He gave him 20 tonight. So there you have it. Grizzlies take the dub in that one. Moving on to Spurs and Bucks. Why would we even talk about this? This game isn't even close. Giannis Antetokounmpo's big night helps the Bucks destroy the Spurs. An absolute ass beating. I mean, 36 points. 36-point win. I don't know why Giannis was even out there half the time he was. I mean, he still went out there. He played 24 minutes and scored and rebounded the ball at a very high level, as if he had played the whole game. You know, this is the best team in the NBA, the Milwaukee Bucks, and it's because of Giannis. Giannis is making his MVP bids right now. So, yeah, there you have it. To be honest, I mean, the Spurs played terrible. They really did, especially a guy like Malachi Branham in this game. Just didn't play that good. As simple as that. I mean, doesn't help that one of the best guards on the team, obviously behind Devin Vassell, couldn't make a three all night. It just doesn't help anything. But looking at the Bucks, 31 points and 14 rebounds for Giannis. You had a 19-point, 10-assist game for Chris Middleton, and off the bench, Bobby Portis just proving he might just win Sixth Man of the Year. I don't know how many starter minutes he's played this year. Maybe he's played too much, but he had 19 points and 10 rebounds while shooting 50% overall. Yep, just fantastic basketball from him all throughout the season. Hopefully it continues as we move on to the Hawks and Timberwolves, because we talked about Ja Morant, but another star that returned tonight, Karl Anthony Towns. He scored 22 in his return as the Timberwolves rally past the Hawks. This is a really big turning point here, I feel like, for the Timberwolves. Shout out to Ty Debo. He's a My Team YouTuber for 2K. He's definitely really happy right now. The Timberwolves were down by a point with 7.2 seconds left. Their coach, Chris Fink, looked at Karl Anthony Towns in the huddle and told him he'd get the ball with a chance to put Minnesota ahead. I mean, he's back. He's got to show this crowd. He's got to give these fans hope. He is that guy. He can get it done. He's got to show that. And he did. But, Trae Young, 29 points, 75% from the three-point line. I mean, they have Garrison Matthews. Garrison Matthews played like dog shit. I don't know. Don't really have much to say about the Hawks' efforts tonight. They didn't play bad. It was just really just a guy like Garrison Matthews. Just needs to step up a little bit. But looking at the Timberwolves played incredible. 25 points for Jaden McDaniels, 33% three-point shooting, 22 points for Karl Anthony Towns off of 67% three-point shooting, a 12-12 stat line for Rudy Gobert, 50% shooting. I forgot how crazy that is that those two are on the court at the same time most of the game. Naz Reid off the bench, he's one of the most underrated players in the league, putting up 26 and shooting 50% from the arc. Yeah, man. Timberwolves are looking pretty good after this game. I'll have to tune into some of their games in the future, but moving on, we have the final two games of the night. The Blazers, the final two games are usually garbage in the NBA for some reason. We have primetime hoops, and they're usually not good games. Looking at the Jazz, Blazers, Damian Lillard and Shaedon Sharpe lead the Blazers past the Jazz to hold a 6-game skid. Coming into this game, Damian Lillard was talking about, we should just move on into the off season and think about the future of this team. But they came out and won. Great scoring for both Damian Lillard and Shaedon Sharpe. Shaedon Sharpe actually having his best scoring night of his early career as a rookie here. They won by 12. It was a pretty easy one for them, apparently, and they haven't had a lot of easy moments this year, so they'll gladly take that. The Blazers played fantastic, though. 21 points for Trenton Walford, 33% three-point shooting. Nurkic comes out, puts up 20. He shoots 40% from three. We'll talk about D'Lo next, but D'Lo, 30 points, 12 assists. Shaedon Sharpe, 24 points. A team with a lot of injuries. Anthony Simons went down, so obviously Shaedon Sharpe had to step up. And he did, and he played a good basketball game. You look at the Jazz, you get Kelly Olynyk with a 12-point, 10-rebound game, and I didn't even realize this, but Lauri Markkanen had 40 points and 12 rebounds. The dude would have had to put up like 55 for them to win this game. Shot 33% from three. Ochai Agbaji, I know he's a young guy and I should cut him some slack, but he's got to play better for this team, as does, Rudy Gay off the bench and Juan Toscano Anderson, Johnny Juzang, Azubuike, Fontecchio. There's all sorts of bench guys. They're kind of having some depth problems. They have a lot of young guys. They have a lot of underdeveloped players. It just kind of is what it is. It's a rebuilding squad. Suns and Lakers. Thought this was going to be a little more interesting than it was, but You know, the Lakers charged to a skid-snapping win over the Suns. They won by 11. You know, great scoring and decent rebounding for Anthony Davis out there. D'Lo, great scoring as well. Those two showing that they're here. This is their team. They're ready to possibly make a play-in run here and make the playoffs, hopefully, off of that. And yet they against Phoenix, they lost 6 straight coming into this one, and they kind of flipped a switch. The Suns, I mean, people don't realize how important DeAndre Ayton is until they go against a guy like Anthony Davis, and that was such a big deal for them. They couldn't cope with it. But Devin Booker, 33 points, 33% from 3. You know, Josh Okogie, Jack Landale, Terrence Ross, guys like that just didn't play